The most important component of the air forces of most countries in the world is bombers. These steel birds perform a very important strategic function to defeat various ground targets. As for the U.S., which takes the lead in the sky, veteran Stratofortresses, B-52s, have been serving here for more than half a century. Of course, the country also has other machines in service, including the most expensive aircraft in the world, namely the B-2 Spirit. However, while the first ones, despite numerous modifications and upgrades, do not reach the standards of the 21st century, the later ones are too expensive for the government. In this regard, it was decided to create a new advanced bomber that meets all the needs of the present, and his name is B-21 Raider. How and why the new aircraft was created, what makes it different from its predecessors, and how much did the development program cost? Right now. This is Military News. Do not miss. Talking about creating a new strategic bomber has been going on since the early 2000s. Even though the Cold War ended decades ago, there was a need for an aircraft capable of overcoming the air defense of the potential enemy, resist such weapons as anti-aircraft missile system S-400 and the fifth-generation fighters, such as Chinese J-20 and Russian Su-57. The development program for the new airship changed its name and requirements for the prototype several times. So it first had the code name 2018 Bomber, then changed it to Next Generation Bomber. Finally, it became the Long Range Strike Bomber. The developer of the project was a major American company, Northrop Grumman. By the way, it was not chosen by chance. The fact is that Northrop Grumman is the world leader in stealth technology and the only company that already has experience creating such aircraft. This includes the B-2 Spirit in its own right and individual components for the F-35, as well as the X-47B and Global Hawk drones. In 2016, the bomber was officially designated B-21. Such a number for the aircraft was not chosen by chance because it's considered one of the main developments of the 21st century. In addition, you may have already noticed the aircraft was given the nickname Raider in honor of the Doolittle Raid, an episode of World War II, which is in fact a response to the attack on Pearl Harbor. It's also symbolic that retired Lieutenant Colonel Richard Y. Cole, the only living veteran of the famous raid at the time, was present at the ceremony of the project opening. The aircraft itself was designed using digital design and advanced manufacturing techniques. Assembly of the B-21 began in September 2019 in Palmdale, California. The first flight of the Raider is scheduled for next year, with acceptance into service in 2026-2027. The U.S. Air Force plans to get at least 149 units to replace its existing fleet of B-1 Lancer and B-2 Spirit strategic bombers and expand it to meet future needs. I want to say right now that the B-21 has quite a lot in common with its predecessor. However, one of the main differences is the price. In our review of the Spirit, we already talked about the fabulous cost of this machine, equal to $2 billion, while a copy of one Raider should cost the government $500 to $550 million. The difference is tangible. It'll also be cheaper to maintain the plane, for which it'll not be necessary to build special individual hangars. Although the entire program to create a new aircraft still cost the U.S. government quite an amount of about $55 billion. And now let's look at the technical characteristics of the Raider. The exact dimensions of the steel bird remain classified, but there is information in the network that the B-21 will be smaller than its predecessor. In this case, the designers wanted to keep the maximum takeoff weight of the machine about 170 tons and the indicator of the combat load up to 27 tons. The aircraft is made by the aerodynamic scheme Flying Wing, which can significantly reduce the effective area of scattering and consequently reduce radar visibility compared with aircraft with vertical wingtips. Another advantage is that the bomber is designed on the principle of open architecture. The solution allows the use of modular equipment and makes it possible to install new systems without altering the design. The modern aircraft will have the newest onboard equipment such as radar optical stations, OLS, similar to those installed on the F-35 fighter, AN, AAQ-37, and AAQ-40. The aircraft will also be equipped with an active phased array radar. Most likely its development will take the same Northrop Grumman. Already had experience in creating radar for the F-22 and F-35. However, the new model will have a much larger number of receiving and transmitting modules, which in turn will increase the radar capacity and therefore its ability to detect targets and jamming. The high sensitivity of these systems enabled the test to detect a ballistic missile launch from a distance of 1,300 kilometers and also to detect firing from a tank gun. The Link 16 system and C2 information system will be installed in the aircraft to transmit data. In addition, Raider is planned to be equipped with the function of command post to control a swarm of drones. And most likely, shortly, there will be an unmanned version of this aircraft. Another obvious distinction of the Raider is its long range. The aircraft will be able to fly about 9,000 kilometers with a full combat load. Such indicators to the airship are provided by powerful engines, Pratt & Whitney. The exact model and number of units are of course classified, but according to expert estimates, it'll be 2 F-135s from the 5th generation fighter. What is known is that to reduce heat radiation and infrared visibility, the engines will be mounted inside the glider with the output tubes at the top of the glider. Exact information about what kind of weaponry will carry this bomber is not yet available, but there is a huge amount of speculation. The arsenal will be both conventional and nuclear warheads. Among the first ones are Corrected Joint Directed Attack Munition (JDAM) missiles and AGM-158 Joint Air-to-Surface Standoff Missile (JASSM). The Americans may adopt the famous European MBDA Meteor missile with ramjet propulsion for this ship. More likely, the main weapon will be the Raytheon-developed Peregrine missile with a multi-mode seeker head. The second is likely to be the B-61 and B-83 nuclear gravity bombs, as well as the AGM-181, a long-range nuclear missile, which is currently under development. And how can we forget about the laser weapons that are so much talked about? The Lockheed Martin Company has been working on the SHIELD, Self-Protection High-Energy Laser Demonstrator laser for several years, which may well become part of the B-21 armament. However, this weapon will not be ready in a couple of years. The B-21 project turned out to be very impressive, powerful onboard equipment, stealth technology, a wide range of weapons, including even nuclear warheads, and all this at a fairly reasonable price in comparison with its predecessor. However, only 2 prototypes out of 150 planned have left the assembly line, and they'll take to the skies no earlier than next year. Will the B-21 bomber of the 21st century or repeat the fate of its predecessor? We can only guess. Write your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe so as to not miss the next review. I'll be very happy if you'd like this video. See you soon.